Boom, 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 boom. Hello. How's it going, everyone?
It's going well.
Not too bad.
Sorry about the delay, folks. For some reason, Streamlabs wasn't starting the stream, so we had to wait, and it sucks, but it's the way it is. So sorry about that. But anyway, how's everyone doing this fine evening? How about you, Eddie?
Oh my god! I would ask to be next because I'm having a weird echo. All right, I found it. It was on Twitter. I was listening to ourselves again and again and again. But I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thanks for coming. We've got lots to talk about tonight as well. So yeah, and obviously we've got Lee back again for the second roundtable.
Hello.
How's it going? So for anybody that didn't catch him on the last roundtable, Lee's joined us, better known as C Troop. He's joined the Stadia Source team, and I think you're going to be a regular, aren't you, around here? So
yeah, I think so. Hopefully, yeah.
Duncan, how's it going?
Outstanding, I reckon.
Outstanding is correct as normal for me. Everything's grand. What about you, Dan? And remember, we don't talk about Tommy.
Don't subscribe.
I think somebody needs to remove his privileges.
It's his account, so we can't
ban him.
It's bad, yeah. So I'm going to have a quick shout out to some of the people in the chat. So we've got some early birds today as well. Charles, whoever this guy is. Ashes, how you doing? Whoever that guy is. And Andy Morphs, how's it going? So it's been a quiet week this week, and I mean there are some more obvious reasons as to why that is, but in terms of news, we have still got things to talk about. So obviously we start off the podcast with what we've been playing this week. So let's do that now. So Eddie, as you're the guest, we'll start with you if that's okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Absolutely. So I've played a few of the Pro June games. I played about 2 hours of Super Hot, which is equivalent to finishing actually the first part of the story. I'm not gonna go spoilers alert here. And then I played a few matches of Power Rangers. And that has been it about my pro games of the month. And of course, I took a few races here and there with the crew too.
Okay. How are you liking Power Rangers?
It's a decent fighting game. I need to stop smashing buttons and learning how to do the combos properly. But the experience has been good. I've beaten Brian, so that's good.
That's how you win at the game. You just button mash.
Smash button, like.
That's the only way. That's the only way Lord Moore can beat me.
But it was good. It was good.
I mean, beating Brian at a beat 'em up as well. That's quite an achievement. The guy just lives in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So he even said, "Oh, you know what? Let's play a little Mortal Kombat." I said, "No, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead." So thank you, and that's about it. But it's a fun fighting game. I want to get back to it, and I actually want to see what is the story mode it's about.
Yeah, I played a little bit of the story mode, and to be fair, I mean, it doesn't really make sense if you're into like the show and the lore behind Power Rangers. It doesn't really make too much sense, and for some reason, it makes you play the enemies as well. Like it's not you being the good Rangers against the evil one. Sometimes you play as the evil one, which, if you ask me, if that was a real life situation, surely if you just put the controller down and let the good guy win, then the game's over, really. But whatever.
I think they may have copied the formula from Mortal Kombat here, because on the Mortal Kombat story, there are days you are playing with the good guys, there are moments you're playing with the bad guys. So probably that's why. But I'm curious to see. Yeah, I was a fan of the show back then, so I guess it's the nostalgia kicking in, and I will be playing that more.
I must admit, I was a little bit. Maybe it's my fault for not really looking into it too much, but there isn't as many Rangers as I thought there was going to be.
I think
for some reason I got it into my head that
all about the DLCs, right?
Yeah. I think I got it into my head that there was like every single Power Ranger from every single part of the series, but yeah, maybe that's just wishful thinking. So, but yeah, and Tommy, what have you been playing?
No surprises here. NBA. I finally hit Pro 3 in rankings on that now, which is akin to just above noob, I guess. Now, the grinding just takes so long, and because for so long there was nobody to play it with, it's weird. But I haven't actually played any of the pro games yet. I'm probably going to start with Power Rangers. I kind of want something that's just a little bit fun that I don't really need to care about, and I don't have to dedicate any time to, because that's most of what the games I have at the moment. I'm running Assassin's Creed Odyssey, finally going through that, and that's like hundreds of hours to get all the way through it. So especially the DLCs. So I'm at that stage already with Stadia where I have way more games than I have time to play, and it's starting to really feel like my Steam library in a good way, and a lot of them have been free, which is even better. But yeah, I just really need to actually start playing some of the games now. Little Nightmares will be the last one I played, just because I've already played it all through on the PC anyway, so it's a good game, and those who haven't played it should definitely check it out. It's not going to be for everyone, but it's a free game, and if you like those kind of horror-y kind of styles, then it's a brilliant game. It's not a hardcore horror by any means, but it's got some good kind of tense moments.
I was going to say something then, but I completely forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, that was it. I know what I was going to say now. NBA. So, have you said that you've now got people to play with? Has it improved much since it was like that cheap when it was not long ago?
So it's actually gone the other way. Well, I say gone the other way. There was a massive peak in the players where I was logging into the park pretty much regardless of time, and there was always like a minimum of 20 people in there. I was playing last night and we had about 36, I think, at the top level. But one thing to bear in mind with this game is once you go through the rookie stage, you then go into a different server, and there is only one server. So everybody that is playing that, wherever they are in the world, once they come out of the rookie stage, they are all on one server. It can comfortably house, like, I don't know how many people, but I mean, even just on the main courts, when you load into the neighborhood, there are 6 courts, varying between 6 and 4 players. You've then got the Pro Amateur Series, which is another set of courts. You've got the Ante-Up, which is essentially where people can bet in-game currency, and there's loads of courts for that. They've got the cages, so you can easily, I mean, if anybody's played it on the Xbox or PlayStation, then you will see that generally speaking, there's like 80 odd people in every game, and we're nowhere near that yet. But you can consistently actually get a game now, which is brilliant.
Tommy, have you been part of the NBA 2K20 Stadia Discord?
No, and only because I was trying to get a link to it the other day from a guy that I've been playing with for a while, and the microphone just kept breaking up. So I just, in the end, I was just like, "Yeah, I got that," but no, I haven't got the link to get in.
All right, I can send it here, and then you guys check it out. But the thing is, before the huge sale promotion, there was a lot of people interested in playing NBA and couldn't get games going on the park. So they put out this Discord server together. So whenever you are playing NBA, they will call you up to the server because there's always people there. So yeah, I'll bring it up here.
That'd be sweet.
Cool. Lee, what about yourself? What have you been playing?
A bit more of Assassin's Creed Odyssey again. I've sort of splintered off. I'm just doing sort of side missions and that now. Some of the DLC missions as well. I touched on the pro games a little bit. I actually played straight through Panzer Dragoon, which was interesting, to say the least. And Power Rangers, which has surprised me because I don't usually do fighting games. I think I said that last week. It's not usually a genre for me. But I'm really enjoying Power Rangers. Combat is pretty good. I've not played any story or anything in it. Just jumped straight in online. And that's been tough. I've been losing more than winning, but it's been good. It's a really enjoyable game. So a little bit of Get Packed. I did a couple of levels in Get Packed, but I think it needs to be played more multiplayer rather than just on your own, I think.
Yeah, we noticed that as well, didn't we?
Mm.
Cool. So, Duncan, what about yourself?
Everybody seems to have missed the thing saying Pubg, so I've been playing a little bit of Pubg, which we're not going to mention later. And we
Practicing for the next Creators Cup.
Yes, I have played all the pro games which we're going to come to. I put a couple of wee videos up there. We have to pump our amazing video content here. And I finished off the Turing test this week as well on Stadia. And obviously been playing Zombie Army with Kelly. And guess what she's playing at the moment? She's playing it again in the background. So I've had a fair bit of games this week.
So I've personally been playing The Crew 2 quite a lot because I don't know if it was in the last stream we mentioned that my partner has actually discovered The Crew 2, all the races and stuff on it. She actually created a Stadia account, bought the game herself at full price as well, and literally just plays The Crew with me and Lord Moore. So she's been enjoying that. And then we had a big game of Monopoly. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, you forgot about that already, didn't you? Guess who won?
Some god check.
So, yeah, that was an interesting one. Hi, Jem. The game lasted about 3 hours, but it was all good fun anyway. So, other than that, bit of Power Rangers. I've not played as much as I'd like to have played that, but it is a good game from what I've gathered so far. So, yeah, I haven't had a chance to check out any of the other pro games. I mean, I already had Get Packed anyway, so. And I've heard some bad things about Panzer Dragoon, so.
But you, as a Sega head, you didn't want to play Panzer Dragoon, or have you played it before on the Sega?
No, I've never played that one, but I mean, I like Sega, but it doesn't mean I like every Sega game. So
Blasphemy.
Which brings us to
sorry, Brian. Yeah, so I mean, we've kind of already discussed like some of these games already. I'm going to bring up my screen here for anybody that's not aware. So obviously we've got Power Rangers that we spoke of, Panzer Dragoon. Eddie mentioned Super Hot. Sorry, Tommy, we're
That's
getting
all
rid
right.
of your face there.
sorry for the best.
Little Nightmares. Anyone played much of that yet? Or
Yep, I'm a wee bit into it now.
yeah,
It's not bad. It reminds me so much of Limbo and Inside.
Yeah,
So-
very much so.
Sort of puzzly, but it's got me interested. It hasn't got me hooked like them other two did, but I am working my way through it slowly.
yeah, and like I said, Get Pack's been out for a while, so a lot of people have already had a chance to play that. I don't think there's really much more to say about the pro games. Obviously, we're getting the Elder Scrolls on the 17th, was it? You could class that as a pro
16th,
game as well. 16th,
So-
okay. Only a day out.
Let's start at the top. Go at the very, very top here. We'll go Power Rangers. Dan, what do you think of Power Rangers? Go.
Thumbs up.
Lee,
Thumbs up.
Ellie, thumbs up. Tommy doesn't count. Tommy, what
Tell
do
you
you
what,
think?
just everybody give a thumbs up or a thumbs down based on the game.
I'll give double thumbs up just for Tommy.
Thank you.
Thumbs up
No,
for
but
me
not
for-
you, Tommy the Power Ranger.
Yes. Green Ranger.
Panzer Dragoon. Dan, you didn't play this, so your no opinion is yet.
No.
Lee, Eddie, Tommy,
Haven't played it, won't play it. So
and there is
Suppose-
double thumbs down. I think it's just stated
This
horribly.
doesn't work so much for the audio listeners, does it really?
No, it doesn't. So basically, Power Rangers awesome. Everybody like Power Rangers, Panzer Dragoon mixed to poor. Super hot. Dan.
Yeah, I like the concept of it. So,
Lee,
Not played it yet.
Ellie,
A fun first-person shooter. I approve.
Tommy.
Controversially, great game, just not with a controller. It's much, much better in VR.
Yep, all right.
Okay, I was waiting for you to say keyboard and mouse, but you said VR.
Oh.
Right.
No, just in VR, it's so much. It's kind of so immersive that you feel like you're about to be hit by things that are flying past you as well. So it's a different experience. It's like
Right.
playing a different game.
I like Super Hot Little Nightmares.
not a chance to play it yet, but I will do.
Nope, not played it yet.
Ellie,
Didn't play yet, but I will play.
Tommy's played it on different platforms. You can give a.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. I would imagine that the Stadia version is going to be completely parallel. It's not a graphically intense game, so it's more about the story, if you like. It's a narrative side scroller, really, but I think it's a great game.
Tommy,
I did try and get some. Sorry, go ahead, Eddie.
I was just gonna ask you, can you make a comparison with Guild somehow?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those two games side by side, it's almost like Guilt is the evolution, if you like, of Little Nightmares. But I would say that the tone of Little Nightmares is more adult than Guilt. You could quite easily get away with a younger kid playing Guilt. I don't know, maybe it would be a little bit too much for sort of around the 10 age would probably be a bit young for Little Nightmares, whereas I think that would be ideal for Guilt.
Little Nightmares gets a thumbs up from me, and the last one get packed. I'm hoping everybody's played this now. Dan,
It was fun, but I think unless you're playing it multiplayer, it tends to the novelty wears out. So,
Lee,
Yeah, I think it's fun, but again, I think I would like to play it multiplayer.
Eddie,
I approve this message. I had to get back on day one. So, although right now it's a pro title for just 1 month from launch, but I approve that it's a fun game that anyone can get now.
Tommy.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this at length, I think, between myself and you, Duncan, that the game is fundamentally good and fun. If you're playing it in multiplayer, it loses its appeal very quickly in single player, and I don't know how long it will stick around as being that. It kind of signals something to me that it's gone as a pro game literally a month after release. I'm sure that's nothing on the publisher. They'll be quite happy because they're getting paid whatever, but I don't know how it's going to fare in 6 months' time.
Tommy, if I may add to that, because we said about everyone mentioned the single player versus the multiplayer. One game that I love and I play a lot on the PS4, it's the Overcooked. Either I got Overcooked 1 and Overcooked 2. I cannot play that game by myself. I need to be playing either with my wife, we're playing the two of us, or we're playing with 4 friends as a co-op. But there are a few games that are really, really more fun to play co-op other than playing alone. Like Overcooked, I even can't boot to the game to play alone.
It's almost like they shouldn't have bothered putting a single player mode in some of these games, because all of the comedy is about when things go wrong, and that doesn't happen with the AI. And if it does, it's generally scripted, and that feels worse. It's a social game. It just plays so much better when you play it with somebody else.
I'd like to add as well, I also tried to find out from the Little Nightmares team if the Little Nightmares 2 would be coming. And the PR team said that they have no knowledge of it coming just yet. So obviously tried to dodge the question, but who knows?
Now, what we missed in our last podcast was Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light is coming to Stadia. 2 older games which have been on every other source system going. So, Dan, happy, sad, indifferent?
I'm happy for the platform to be getting 2 new Metro games. I'm fully aware, obviously, Metro Exodus is on Stadia and has done well so far. It was a pro game as well, so I think some people are going to want to maybe continue their journey. Is Exodus before or after these? Do you guys know? Or I'm not really
in a
familiar with-
timeline, you mean?
Yeah.
I guess it's afterwards. I haven't actually played through the whole story yet.
Yeah. Well, even if they're not, I mean, you might have played Exodus because it was a pro game. You might be new to the genre because it was a pro game. So you might want to extend that into these games as well. But personally, I played the first 10 minutes of Exodus just to try and see if my father-in-law would be interested in that type of game. But unfortunately, he wasn't. So I turned it off. But there's just too many games to play at the moment, like you said. But...
And then he booted Tomb Raider again.
Sorry?
And then he went ahead and played Tomb Raider again.
That's the only game he'll ever play, really. I've tried to get him to play other games, but he thinks if there's not another Tomb Raider soon, then he's going to get rid of Stadia. So I keep asking to try and buy his controller off him and his Chromecast, so I can have one in the living room and just switch between the two. Yeah.
Lee, what's your take?
Indifferent. I think it's good that, of course, there's new games coming to Stadia. It builds the library a little bit. I've not really been interested in the Metro series. I've not played these two, the original two. I did try Exodus once at EGX. It wasn't a game for me, but I know there's a popular series of games, so it's always good that they're going to be on there, and it gives more people a chance to play them.
Eddie?
I will follow, just as Lee said. It's not. I am indifferent on that because I haven't ever played before. Just as Dan said as well, I tried a little bit of Metro Exodus, and so it wasn't for me. So I'm happy that Stadia is building up the library, as the Charles corrected us here. Those games came before, but yeah, it's not a game that myself appeal into.
Okay, and just as we're on here, Red Dead Redemption 2 servers are back online. Rockstar have brought up on all their servers due to the I don't want to say situation, the protests and highlighting everything going forward. So they're now back online while we're just talking here. Tommy, what's your feelings on these two games?
So interestingly, I've actually been seeing like reviews on Exodus, specifically Stadia related, where people are saying that it's the best looking game on Stadia. I actually had a really hard time getting the game to run when it first came out as a pro deal. Again, within the Chrome browser, not on a Chromecast Ultra. I just found that the game didn't run very well. It felt like it was a hard experience to get through. It does play much better now. I actually tried it not long ago. After seeing what people were saying, I was like, this is very different from how I know the game, but certainly it seems better now, as with a lot of games that struggled in Chrome earlier on. The Redo, Redux, whatever people want to call it, I actually think their 30 frames in Exodus was unplayable for me. Yeah, I can imagine. The two other games were fantastic games. I really, really enjoyed those, and something in Exodus hasn't made me play through it like those two did. I don't know if it's just a stumbling block getting further into the story or not, but I mean, it's a really good looking game. It's a good way to demonstrate what Stadia can do when that game plays in 4K.
Okay, my wee take on it. These have got pro games written all over them, and it's really bad to just say these sort of things when you see games come to the surface. You think it's going to be a pro game, and we need some more games where you're going to go and go buy that day one. These aren't games I'm going to buy in day one, because I think if they're not going pro, they're going to be on a pro deal and they're going to be cheap eventually. So it's just something to think about. With them actually coming to Stadia, I'm actually happy. More games the better. And Dan's got the wee trailer up here.
So regarding it being a pro title, I do think that there's high chance. But I don't make any predictions for a pro anymore, because I've been saying so much that Assassin's Creed Odyssey was going to be a pro deal or a pro game. At least I could get as a pro deal. So if you are interested in this game, with its glorious 30 FPS, you can get it as a pro deal probably.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about here is maybe just a wee talking point. It is about pre-orders. We've got a couple of things we can actually talk about with this. Dan did some journalism today, and look, there's a smug look there. And
You mean he just made up a story and went with it?
I are journalist.
Yes. And we have discovered that on other systems, if you pre-order Formula One, F1, you get Michael Schumacher Deluxe. Or sorry, you get some extra bits and bobs, but yeah, in Stadia you actually have to buy the deluxe version of it to get it. So this brings up a thing: should Stadia start introducing pre-orders sooner rather than later? There's just lots of different things you can touch on with this. Does Stadia need pre-orders? Because you just buy it and away you go. Do you think pre-ordering is good or bad or indifferent? There's just some wee talking points here. Where we'll start with Tommy here, because he looks like he's going to sleep.
I was reading. So this is a game that I'll be getting day and date. Very much looking forward to it. Love the franchise. I've kind of stopped watching it as a real sport for the last 2 years or so, but the games have always been fantastic fun. Now, interestingly, on the point of the pre-orders though, so far, any game that has come out that has pre-order content and comes out on Stadia, it's kind of just come out with the normal version of the game so far. Even Doom gave you the additional content just for buying the game within a set period of time. And I struggle to see the reason for pre-orders on Stadia. I know some people say about budgeting and so on, but I mean, pre-ordering itself isn't really necessarily for the budgeting, right? Because you could just put that money aside and ring fence it somewhere and not have to worry about it, in the same way that a lot of people will pre-order a game and then cancel it down the line because they want that money for something else instead. But because we don't need to preload anything, we just have to have it live, press the button and go. I would rather just see that we could maybe just get different versions, like a Stadia-centric version that was the equivalent of whatever the bonuses were. But I'd be more than happy if they just kept giving us the additional content when we purchase the game.
So it says here, obviously, if you get the Michael Schumacher Deluxe Edition on Stadia, you'll have access to the cars. Can't have Stadia players missing out. So to me, that's what needs to happen. Like, we need to have some way of getting them, regardless of whether you pre-order or not. So I'll just kind of put it in here. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and say what I want to say about it, seeing as I'm talking anyway. But I think when it comes to pre-orders, I think the option to be able to pre-order, to me, trumps whether it's necessary or not. I'm a big fan of giving someone the choice, for example. So, you know what I mean? If you did want a budget for it, then that's up to you. Also, it's a way, obviously, that like developers can obviously gauge the interest on a certain game, whether they get quite a lot of pre-orders or not. If you're having to pay for that up front, obviously some of the money goes to them anyway. So it's almost like early access, really. Except you don't get early access, if that makes sense. But I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think the incentive to have pre-orders is what makes people want to pre-order. So why not?
Eddie?
So before I want to talk about this game, yes, I do have a copy here of F1 2016. That's in Brazilian Portuguese. I was still living in Brazil, but I already had it, and it's a hell of a fun game from Codemasters. But regarding the pre-order thing, I have two comments. First, I'm gonna go with more towards Dan here, because if people like pre-orders and just give them the ability to pre-order, since I know it's a change of the industry, but every single platform, being PC, being consoles, you can do pre-order. And right now on Stadia, you can't. Why I said right now would go to the second point, which is we have here on chat Gem Stadia. He did a video where he goes over lists of.
Yeah, we're coming to that later, actually.
Oh, sorry. So I'm not going to spoil it. It's just because there was the deal of there was a list of pre-orders there, but I would love it to, like this example of Michael Schumacher. If I cannot pre-order, but just as it happened on Doom, like if I buy Doom on the first weeks and you give me the Michael Schumacher pack for free, I'm fine with that. But what I'm not fine with, I don't have the ability. I don't have it available for me to pre-order, and I'm missing a pre-order deal. Make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
Lee, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much just the same. I think the option should definitely be there because every other platform has got it, as you say, Xbox, PlayStation, PC. You know, all the stores on PC have got the option to pre-order games. If it's something that Stadia's, it's not going to come anytime soon, or they're not going to do it, I think as long as we're still getting the pre-order bonuses that other platforms are getting, if we purchase it, as Eddie says, within maybe the first week or the first couple of weeks, then I think that's okay because, as you said, the games, they're instantly ready to play. You don't have to, you don't have to pre-download anything like you can do on Xbox and PlayStation, and so I think they should definitely have the option. The option should definitely be there if people want to pre-order.
Yeah, for me, I would like a pre-order just to have the option to do it. Because if I knew I could pre-order Assassin's Creed Valhalla now, I would be putting my money down and buying it now just to know that I've got it bought ready for when it comes out. Because I know that game is going to be a banger, and we're going to be getting it. But at the very, very bare minimum, they need to have, as Wardock said there, a coming soon section just so we know what is coming, a rough time scale. The coming soon will do it for me. Yeah, it would have to be coming soon section with it's coming in August, preferably like with a date, just so we know when things are coming. Because just shadow dropping things, shadow drops are class when you're done in small dosages, but Stadia, basically everything's a shadow drop or a couple of things, so you can't plan what's coming this month. So
I just want to add though that obviously you can see here on screen that although you can pre-order on these platforms, Stadia is grayed out, but I do appreciate the fact that Stadia is actually there even if it is grayed out. There's nothing worse than obviously seeing every other platform there except for yours. So, but at the same time, I think people are going to see that and think, why is Stadia grayed out? So it swings and roundabouts. I think it's nice to see it, but I think it's going to cause some confusion or maybe some ridicule to some people, I guess.
Moving on to the next thing, I've actually changed this up since we've got the person here in chat. We've just talked about it as well. More store listings found by Gem Stadia. Not sure if anybody's seen the video. It's a really good video on how he's found some more hidden things. Dan discovered a load of hidden things beforehand. These are just some more which have been found. It's more about the trials, and there's some more publishers being found. There we go. Dan's got them all down there, and you can actually click into them. So it's pretty good that there's more here. I just want to see these starting to get filled up. Have you got the 2K one there? No.
So 2K one.
Yeah, I think Gem found the 2K one as well. Though, like you found, or we put the default or the.
Oh, you mean the actual publishers? You mean the developers? Yeah. No, I haven't put them down. These were literally just the game lists. The ones that Gem found as well, and before obviously anything, make sure you go and check out his video as well. I know we've got them all listed here, but definitely check out his video because he goes into more detail about what he thinks some of these listings might be about. And obviously, we've just got the list here, but we don't really go into what it could mean for Stadia. And obviously, you put a lot of effort into the video as well, so definitely check that out.
And he explains the methodology, how he did it, which is amazing.
Yeah, it shows you how he went. Because I think if you just click these here, they actually don't work. They take you to an undefined page. You have to kind of like stop the browser before it carries on, which is probably why. I mean, I don't know whether they've been here from when I did my discoveries before. Maybe I did them and then didn't, stop the web page. So I just assumed that it was a dead link. So yeah, but definitely props to Jem down below for finding them as well. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to check some of these out. Where do you think it kind of reveals where Stadia's going with some of these? So obviously we've got a lot of like seasonal deals like Black Friday, holiday, summer, back to school.
There are a few ones that I think it gives an interesting topic of discussion. Starting with the very first one you have there, which is buy it again. What do you guys think buy it again means?
Gifting. Or came back at that right time there, didn't it?
Well, it could be gifting, or it could be, for example, if you've bought a game and then refunded it. And it might be trying to entice you to buy it again. Like maybe you bought the game, maybe it didn't work so well for you. You've refunded it, then you think, oh, there's been an update to the game. They've fixed a load of issues. They've patched it, and
where it's on sale. Yeah.
Well, it might be now that we've patched it. Now there's been a patch. You might want to check it out now.
All right. Yeah, I'm more
like
with you.
See, I actually think it's more to do with the Pro subscription. For the people that have let Pro lapse, I think this is going to be their way of yeah, exactly. It's going to be their way of trying to tempt people back to Pro.
Or V-Bucks. DLC, or if we're going to go complete Stadia, the Pubg stuff. So all the wee money packs you can buy, or for when FIFA comes, your Ultimate Team money, and
yes, that's a good point. Yeah, like for example, like you buy crew credits and stuff like that. So
a broken clock goes right a couple of times a day.
Yeah, so if you've bought credits for like the crew credits or something, or you know what I mean, things that you can buy more than once, it might be like trying to entice you to buy it again. So that's actually a pretty good shout, that is, to be fair. So yeah,
I reckon that one came from Team Kelly.
Yeah, she whispered it in his ear. So really,
probably.
What about new trailers?
Yeah, new trailers. That's always a good one. If there's new DLC, for example, for a game, games that your friends are playing, that would be a good one as well. Newly updated. That could be one I was just mentioning. If there's been an update to the game as well, you might want to check that one out.
And there's so I was just going to say there's the Google algorithms that work for recommended for you.
And where is the demos or what was we were talking about again before?
Well, they were
pre-orders.
Yeah, they were part of the ones that I found. I think it was like
pre-orders
6 months ago or something like that. But yeah, so these are just the new ones in this particular article that we're talking about now. But yeah, pre-orders, demos, early access. I mean, we've already got one early access game in Ember. They're all coming at some point. We just don't know when yet. So,
all right. So for me, the more interesting one from this list, it's buy now to continue playing.
Trials. Yeah, that does hint at trials and demos and stuff like that. So,
which we all knew was coming anyway, right? It was gonna. They just never confirmed exactly how it was going to be done. But I think the most simple way is just going to be time limit, probably 20 minutes, half hour, maybe. And then you're just going to get that prompt come up on screen, continue playing, buy now.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, they can even do the Xbox sort of way of doing it. They do free game weekends, don't they, where you can download the game, you can play it for the weekend, and when that that time is up, you then get the option to buy the game at a reduced price. So,
and we've missed some of those as well. Like Assassin's Creed had a free weekend, as far as I'm aware.
I think Elder Scrolls Online has had it as well.
Famously, Football Manager has it on Steam. They had it for about 2 weeks. I contacted Miles Jacobson, and basically they were saying it's not us, it's Stadia. So they maybe just haven't got it turned on yet. But if they're not behind pro subscriptions, I personally don't see too much wrong with that. To be slightly controversial there.
Here's a mind blow for you from Trizarector. State share demos. What do you reckon to that? What do you think? You don't own a game, right? Let's say I'm trying to get Duncan to buy The Crew, right? And he's not convinced. So I set up, I'm just going to remove this from the screen 1 second. I set up a certain scenario in the game that I can state share. I say to Duncan, hey, check this out. He loads the game up. He plays through that little section and goes, actually, yeah, this is pretty good. He doesn't own the game, but he can play that state just because I've shared it with him. And then it might pop up at the end saying, well, you know what I mean? You liked that. Maybe you want to buy it. So that is actually a really good shout by Trizarector. And I think it's entirely possible because, again, no installing the game. You know what I mean? No downloads, no updates. You could literally just load the game, play that state, which obviously it will only be a finite state. Once it's done, try and offer you the game. Yeah.
Story ruined. Buy the game.
Yeah, play the end.
I'm trying to get it here. I remember there was a conversation about state share during the GDC. And I'm trying to find it here to see if I can grab again the details on how to look for state share to be working on. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, drop you into an exciting part of the game. That's absolutely what I got from what you said as well, Trizza. So yeah.
Speaking of state share,
good segue. Thank you, Trizza.
We're on fire, Duncan. Damn.
Yep. We can talk about some creator which have said state share is coming with them when they launch in summer. Or sorry, we will rephrase that just to give ourselves a bit of a thing. It is coming in beta in the summer, and you'll be able to share your games with people using a link, like we show them with the multiplayer maps and the party chats and whatnot. So we'll start with we'll go with Lead. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean it's good to see that it's finally going to be coming. We've got a rough date of when it's going to be here with Creator. I think the more I see a Creator, the more it's starting to appeal to me, and I think it's going to be exciting to see some of the things that people are going to create. We've seen it. If you take Dreams just now on PS4, I've seen some amazing creations that people have done on that game. And then you go back to games like Little Big Planet, stuff like that. People do amazing things, and I think it'll be really good to see. And adding state share into that will make it 10 times better.
Thomas,
I got really hyped for this game. Then I kind of lost a lot of interest for it. And then with the YouTube series that they've been doing, showing off more and more of the game and really giving you not just a trailer of like highlights of what I actually don't like calling it a game because I don't think it is. It's a tool set that has games in it. I think this is going to be something that's actually really quite special. Like Dreams done all right. And that allowed a serious level of customization that people were just recreating other games. But it didn't give you the same level of freedom, I think, that Creator is going to give people. I know this game will not stay an exclusive to Stadia because it's too powerful for that to happen, which is unfortunate because it'd be a really good way of really getting hold of a huge number of players. Maybe not straight away, but once this gets out and starts getting established, when people realize that they can essentially play the game for whatever the cost of the game will be when it's not free for the pro users. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game now, more so to see what the community do than anything else. because whatever the developers of Crater have gone, imagine if somebody did this, I guarantee that'll get smashed to pieces, and somebody will come out and go, yeah, we didn't even know that you could do that.
Yeah.
I can see it being exclusive to Stadia. If this takes off, they're going to drop the money and just buy it up. That's my thing on it. I
don't know. Has anybody ever released a game that wasn't exclusive and then made it exclusive? Because we know
Not
it
to my
isn't
knowledge.
an
Yes.
exclusive at the moment. It's first to Stadia at the moment, but and I know they're being very careful
But yes,
about
that
what they
happened with
say.
Flight Simulator.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but again, that was just one deal. But I have a question for you, Tommy. So you're saying that Creator, you don't think it's a game. Do you think Roblox is a game?
Yes. And the reason being that the boundaries of what you can do are still very defined by how the game has been created. The thing with Creator is the fact that they're allowing people to walk in and actually code within the game. So there are going to be people that are using the tool sets which will be more like Roblox. But then for the people that are able to actually go in and implement their own code within that game, we still don't know the full extent of what that's going to be, because at the moment the language is going to be what holds it back. I feel there aren't going to be very many people that can go in there and create something straight off the bat, but as people learn to do more, we may also see implementation of other languages at some point. And if they can open it up enough, then essentially we could see the next, not quite this extent, but the Unreal 5 demo, that could be created within a different kind of scenario based within this game, if that gets to that point eventually. But there isn't really a boundary of what they can do, because people will learn to extend the boundaries with the languages that they allow to be used.
Good points. Good points.
I want to bring up something about state share as well. I think I had this conversation with someone on Twitter earlier, and that is obviously the whole state share thing being, I think they wanted it to be down to Stadia to kind of add it to, well, pretty much any game really, to which obviously we know that state share is down to the developers to code into their games. And one of the big reasons for this is obviously they want to be able to pick what moments in a game that you are able to share. For example, you wouldn't want someone to just share the end mission or a part where they're just about to get one of the hardest achievements in the game to earn, for example, because that would obviously ruin the fun and the competitiveness as well. But also the amount of variables that they're going to need to record in a game to be able to recreate that game on somebody else's instance, such as your player position, your points, your scores, your lives, everything down to the environment as well. It's a massive thing to be able to do that. So it's up to the developers if they want to put that effort into bringing that to their game. And not only that, but some games like probably don't really require it too much. Say if it was like an entirely online game, like an entirely multiplayer game as well, you wouldn't be able to state share that, because obviously every game's different and you need the other players to be in the game as well. So I get where the person was coming from as well. And don't get me wrong, I'd love for it to be in absolutely every game and you can share any point in the game, because that would be immense. But you've also got to look at it from a realistic point of view as well. So
I'll go back to the game I keep on harping on about, which is...
I'm sorry, Duncan. It's just because I already here on queue. If you guys want to see again the GDC when they presented the state share.
As mechanics here. Then there's state share. So content creators can share specific experiences and items, again, determined by you as the developers, with their particular audience. So players will be able to create a 30-second capture video of something and then share that link out on YouTube with these associated states that are determined developer side. Viewers can then click that thing, and then it'll launch the game within that snapshot. So this could be really interesting for games with random seeds of like, hey, I played a game, say like a roguelike with this particular random seed, and I want to share this as a challenge with all of my audience members to see if you can beat this better or faster than myself.
What I have been saying, to be fair to me, with like Slay the Spire, you set it up, bang you go, there's your seed, try and beat me, play along with your YouTuber in the background. This is why this is going to be extremely exciting, and that's why Slay the Spire should have it.
Stadia, can you just release Slay the Spire already? Jesus.
Or if we're going to go new here, get Monster Train. Because that's another, which I forgot to mention, I've been playing that a fair bit. Monster Train on Stadia, and get them to build that in as well.
Absolutely. So, yeah, anybody else got anything to add to this whole creator discussion? Can't even say it. Before we move on to the next thing, or?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. So the next one, I just want to recap on the PUBG Creators Tournament that we had.
Can we skip this? We need to skip this for a couple of reasons.
Winner.
Because I killed you.
And I did.
And Tommy, yeah, we're double teamed.
Yeah, in fact, the last one, we took it in turns. I downed him, he finished him off.
Is that why you wanted to skip it, Duncan?
Yes, and some other people won it as well, or won a couple of rounds, didn't they, Eddie?
No, it was a really fun time, and had a good time, and just looking forward for doing this kind of things again with the community, getting everyone together to play one game at one session. You know, right now PUBG is the only one that allows that, but I'm looking forward for the future.
We were so close on that final.
Oh my
lottery pick
god!
as well.
Yes, Tommy was killing it. Tommy was on fire on the last round. Yes.
The only thing to stop Tommy from winning the game, all you've got to do is stop him from getting a 6x scope or whatever it is. As soon as he gets that, that's it. He's in destroy mode.
I went to bed like really annoyed with myself because I was like, shall I reload now or no, I'll be all right. And then literally Project Storm just came running up the hill. I was like, I've got 2 shots. No, done. It was so much fun.
I was rewatching the clips the next day, and there was a funny one as well. After I think it was the last round when our team, no, it was the second round when our team lost. We were was me and there was Meg and there was Brian left on the other team, and I was running to kill Meg. Brian was running behind me and he had no ammo left, so he was just walking around with the weapon and say, how do I melee because I'm out of ammo. But I ended up dying, but it was a very, very fun time.
Do you know what my favorite part was?
Which one?
The lobby.
Oh, well, the lobby were scared apart, so there wasn't too many people around, at least of me, when we were loading the lobby.
My highlight was I downed a grand total of 1 person during the whole thing, and guess who it was?
Yourself.
No, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
I don't know.
No idea.
Megatron on the first level of the first one.
Oh,
yes, and it is on camera. So that is just slagging because I'm the worst player at it, and I actually downed someone who's good at it. So there we go.
Yeah, I know it wasn't part of the PUBG tournament, but I also saw your Death on Rock late at night show. The one where you got sniped from the back of the vehicle that was moving. That was absolutely hilarious.
Are we going to talk about that? Because I've got the same thing happened to you.
Oh yeah. And then you ran yourself over with the car, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Did we actually have that on stream, or we do? Yeah.
No, I've got no. It wasn't on stream, but I've got it. 30-second. I actually clipped
Oh,
it.
have you? Put it on Twitter. Put it on Twitter, and we'll see if we can get any laughs out of that as well. Because Rox was absolutely hilarious. So yeah. But yeah, it was absolutely
quick
good
off
time
top
for all.
question. So how do I get the video from Stadia, which is a WebM file, and upload it to Twitter?
You may have to convert it.
All right. Stadia, please fix that. I just want to share it straight away. Actually, I need a share button on my clips.
The alternative would be obviously you can upload to YouTube, can't you? Do you remember some of the other ways that we found?
Yes.
You can upload it to YouTube, download it, which is a bit of a ball ache, but at least you'll get it in the right format.
No, come on, Stadia. We're talking about convenience on this platform. So give me the share button on there so I can share my clips.
Absolutely. So a bit of a controversial one for us next. And that is the Take-Two comments, the CEO's comments. So I'll go out on a limb and say I don't really know too much about this. So I think, Duncan, you probably know a little bit more than I do, don't you? Or Tommy? Anybody? Don't leave me hanging here.
So
I think Tommy's got controversial comments here.
yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if somebody else wants to go first, because I feel like I'm on the opposite side of the fence to most people, and it'd probably be better coming after somebody else's.
I don't even know what you said, so.
Lee, did you know what we were talking about?
Yeah, I did. I read the article when it first came out. I think I read it on GameSpot. I think it was. I sort of set it a bit differently on this because I didn't actually think his comments were too bad, if that makes sense. It's like he said, maybe Stadia overpromised on some, on things at the start. Yeah, maybe, but I think when Stadia when they compared, power to the PS4 Pro, the Xbox One X, I think everybody said maybe they shouldn't have done that. If they were confident that the games coming out, multi-platform games, were going to look better on Stadia, fine, absolutely, do it. That wasn't the case, so I think we all said it was maybe a mistake. And then, of course, he went on to say that Stadia had a slow start. Again, I think we can all agree on that. I don't think he's saying anything bad there. But then he went on to say that cloud gaming is very much here. He went on to say that they're still going to be supporting Stadia and cloud platforms. And actually, a good video I actually watched there this week was Clive's video, because he actually showed the clip of the interview. And if you watch that clip of the interview, you can tell how these news sites, they took it completely to a different, the way he's speaking about Stadia and cloud gaming, they took it to a completely different. So as I said, I don't think what he said was overly too bad, if I'm honest. I think certain sites made it sound a lot worse than it really was.
Tommy, was that your side of the fence?
Pretty much, actually. So, I mean, the way that I look at this is that the people that are in the position that he's in have way more information in front of them than anybody of the general public. And in fact, a lot of people, I would imagine, even within the games industry, Google have been very, very closed about anything to do with numbers and figures of users or how many people have even bought into anything. We don't even know how many Founders Editions are available. So I think that while I understand where people have come from when they look at that and they're like, it's bashing on Stadia in a way, which, okay, yes, it is. But at the same time, these people will have paid an awful lot of money to do work on their games to put them onto the Stadia platform. Now, whilst there would have been money going both ways, they would have been getting paid by Stadia, I'm sure, to get these games on board, especially early on. I feel like if you've essentially been told in any sales role, if you're telling somebody that business to business especially, this is what you're going to get, and then you turn around, you're like, well, you know what? That's quite a big difference in the number to what you told me I was going to see. Then I think it's a fair comment. I mean, it's not like they turned around and said that they're not going to support Stadia in the future. And I think that would be a very different thing. If they were basing their future plans of working with Stadia off of what re-releasing games that are already out on platforms for a long time, they're established, not everybody's going to want to go and buy that game again, then yeah, that would be a different kettle of fish. But I didn't take away that that's what their thoughts are on this. They're essentially just saying that promises were made. We were told this is what's going to happen. And yes, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt because they can't tell you how many sales they're going to get. But
Tommy, you're
forecasting-
saying all of this after looking at the interview video that Clive posted, right? Not looking at the article.
oh no, sorry, I'm thinking just off the article here. It's just my views on that because I came out quite quickly and said that I don't think anything he said is wrong. Like, to me, he clearly has some figures in front of him, and to look at it in any other way as that from a businessman's point of view, they have not got what they wanted out of it, and that's a fair thing to say. If you want to come out afterwards and say, look, we were told this is what we were going to get and we didn't get it, then there's nothing wrong with saying that.
All right.
What would you add?
So I am a little bit of more on Lee's side because business-wise, I believe there wasn't anything harm on that, but there's something that people are taking out of context, in my opinion. When they started the question, they started questioning about cloud gaming, and then he mentioned Stadia. Then he says, we support cloud gaming on the business that we believe it makes sense. So remember what happened before? They were part of GeForce Now, and they decided to remove their games from GeForce Now. So there you go. So if they're supporting where it makes sense, Stadia for them makes sense. Stadia is not, GeForce Now is not making sense the way the business models for them. So they are not supporting GeForce Now at the moment. Another key thing to look at that speech was, so it was a premise that you would need, the cloud gaming would kill the console because you would spend $60 to buy a game and you wouldn't spend $300, $400 to buy a console. He made it clear for him that that's not the case, and I agree with him that console is going to continue existing for years and years to come. Cloud gaming is not killing the console, it's just another option. And if we take in mind again, that was an AMA with the CEO of a video game company. He is answering on behalf of the video game company, which is what is the best things to keep the revenue coming into that video game company. So, like subscriptions, because there are two different part questions. One was cloud gaming and the other was subscription. So he explained it on cloud gaming, the promises and etc. But they said they will continue support Google Stadia. Period. So on Google Stadia side, that's a fact. I know the article portrayed a little bit different and then replicated everywhere that a little bit different. So you go a headlines is Take-Two CEO talks bad things about Stadia. That's not true. When you hear the audio, you see that's not true. Whatever he said, it was true, which is regarding it had a rough start. Yes, it did. It had its problems. Yes, it did. But that's on the technology of streaming. Now, when you go to talk about subscription model, which is another thing again, he has some points. He goes there defending his company. But again, if we think on Stadia, what is the subscription model we have on Stadia? There's nothing to do with the subscription model that Take-Two would offer on their games. Probably there's a little bit more on the subscription model that they didn't appeal on with GeForce Now. That's why they pulled out the games, because again, you purchase your games on Steam. You purchase Red Dead Redemption on Steam. That was a one-time purchase done. Now, GeForce Now is going to charge you to play that game on different times that you already own the game. they want to get a cut on that, and GeForce Now didn't offer the cut. So they said, all right, so my game's not going to be supported on GeForce Now. So that's my take on that is that when he was targeting subscription model, he was targeting GeForce Now. That's why they pulled the games out of there. Or any other subscription model, such as the Xbox subscription model that you pay a monthly fee. Because continuing on that article, he says a lot of our players buy 2-3 titles, and Chase says that all the time. A lot of our players buy an NBA title or another sports title, and they just spend the 6 months with 6 months, 1 year, to 2-3 titles that they spent $60. So he himself, he proved that again, and they have all of the data to say that. So for him, that's why he was saying the subscription model doesn't appeal for Take-Two at the moment. All right, I said enough. Sorry.
That's all right.
Small
I just want to
rant.
highlight
Hey, Chase. Small hand.
Just want to highlight some of Chase's comments here as well. It's a hogwash comment in his opinion from Strauss. At the time of contract, he would have known what was the deliverable. If he has proof, then there were overpromises, then he needs to show the numbers. Otherwise, it's rhetoric. So, yeah, I
would imagine he can't show any numbers, though, right? That's going to be part of that. Nobody knows numbers.
Of course.
Nobody's ever going to find them out until Google release them.
I think when he says they promised stuff that they didn't deliver, I think it's more because of the media side, because he know exactly, okay, these are the features that it's going to be rolling out. And you, remember, Take-Two, you had that clip when you showed the, what's it, the feature again with YouTube integration? Crowd play.
Yeah.
There was a crowd play using NBA as an example. So you know that feature that you already have at least some time integrated in your game was not coming. So or I don't know if once again it's two different companies, YouTube and Stadia. Everything is on Google umbrella, okay, but more than once Stadia said it's more on YouTube side to release crowd play. So maybe it's there when he says over-promised stuff that didn't deliver. I would say was something like that, because that's a feature that we knew it was coming to Stadia. It used the 2K game as an example, and so far we haven't had a chance to try it.
I think you're right on that as well, Eddie. I think, sorry, just quickly, I know we had a kind of a different take on the other bits, but I think this is more on YouTube maybe not being ready to handle the potential size of what that is when it goes live, or at least in a way where they've promised us now that when you can like even do direct streaming, that it's going to be a 4K stream, so it's going to be, as far as we're aware, a separate instance of whatever we're doing, because if we're not in 4K 120 frames, which is what apparently it can do, and then it gets downscaled and sent out to us, it's going to be a separate instance from what we're playing, right? It's not just going to mirror the exact one that we're doing. So there has to be a big change in their server infrastructure to be able to do this, and maybe it's just too far away for what they thought it was going to be. I would imagine by now a lot of the features that we knew were coming to Stadia before it released, I would imagine they thought more of those were going to be online and active by now.
I agree.
I still stand by. I don't think Get Packed was ever supposed to launch without crowdplay.
Well, what I was going to mention was with the numbers, still not over 1 million downloads on the Android app yet, and I think 500,000 people isn't nothing to be sneezed at. But I think they would have been hoping to be well over 1 million. I would say even a couple of million people with all these free offers and everything going. So I think the service is on the lower end of expectations at the moment. Yeah, unfortunately.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not ever going to be saying that Stadia hasn't done it. Its numbers aren't there. But I do think that Stadia hasn't reached where it thought it was going to by this point. The fact that it has been free to everybody in, well, I say everybody, everyone within the 14 supported countries for the last 2 months, and giving away free games constantly with that 2-month free pro trial, it still hasn't done what they wanted it to do. That it's not an issue. I don't think they're going to turn around and now all of a sudden start going, yeah, well, we messed up. But I do think that the people that they need to come on board and give us these titles and so on, they are all going to be sitting there and going, right, well, we'll still do it. There's no problem in that. But we want a little bit more money, because if we're not going to make the money from you, we still need to make our ends meet.
All right, I got a big question for the panel, because we keep saying they are not delivering what they promise. What do you guys think? Are we being too precious? Because you can play video games on the cloud. You just open the video game and you're playing. There's no other console which is promising to do the features that we are waiting for, the Stadia enhanced features, as I just learned from the creator team, the terminology right now. But aren't we being too precious on a platform that is 6 months old, saying just because they showed these features and they are not implemented right now? But again, the thinking on the basic, which is I'm getting this controller and then I just press a button and I'm playing without any loading or anything, isn't that already something that, if we compare it to the existing generation, something different? Because if we're saying they are not delivering with their promises, what is the promises they are not delivering regarding playing video games? I understand that there's the features integration with YouTube, which we as content creators are looking forward to it. But if we're thinking of the basic feature, which is get the game and play the game, what are the things they are not delivering?
I'm going to go out for this here, and here comes a rant coming. Are you ready? Oh! I played on live 10 years ago. Stadia is behind on live.
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy, as that may sound. Messaging's not there. Inbuilt store is not there. Streaming is not there. On live had all them free at launch. And On Live was a joke of a service for a lot of people. And On Live had for Stream Connect. They had all that, and Stadia is just under promising, over what's it?
Under promise, under deliver.
Yeah,
it's the wrong way round, but that's what you're going.
Yeah. Yes, you knew what I was going for. It's late. It's way past my bedtime because I'm an old man. But yeah, it's just really frustrating. It's now getting to the thing. We've got more multiplayer games coming on here, and people can't message each other unless they've got a headset. And even the voice chat is a pain in the arse to get going for a lot of people. Some games you can do it through party chat. Some games are in there. It is just a mess. They just need the basic stuff there. And Zero Games for me is completely right there. All Knives UI was about 1 million times better than Stadia's. Do you know what you were doing when you were looking at the games? There was trailers actually going down. So instead of having just a static picture, you would actually hover over and there was like a trailer going. And if you clicked into the game, you could see other people playing and you could jump into their streams and watch them play. It was just, this is what Stadia should be doing. And if you haven't actually seen the UI on live, go and check it out. It's just like, this is what Stadia should be doing. Stadia,
we'll make it happen then, Duncan Harrison.
I know, I have to get my big stick out and start hitting people with it. It's just, Stadia came in a minimum viable product, and yes, while I've been doing things like the 1440p and things like that, just the basics are still not there. I know for myself, the majority of my play is through the Chromecast, and I can't actually go and buy games on there. I can't do bugger all on there. It's just, Okay, well, let someone else go ranting now before I go take over.
Well, you summed it up. You can't buy games. You can't see achievements properly. Like I'm pretty sure you can't like find friends to play with because, like, I say my partner recently got Stadia as well, and she wanted to add Lord Moore, and she had to do it through a phone. Like, why can't she just boot up the menu? There's an on-screen keyboard anyway. You know what I mean?
Sometimes.
So sometimes, see when you can find it. So these are just fundamental things. And messaging, like you said, they need to be here. And I know they're slowly coming out and incrementally, but they should have been here from launch, really.
I think the core of what Stadia is about, the gaming, the cloud gaming, like you said rightly, that the fact that you've got that control, you press a button on there and you load into the service, that's all fantastic. And I applaud everything they've done with regards to the technology. It works. That was the main thing that people were streaming, we're not ready for streaming games media yet, that the infrastructure isn't there. That's all been blown away. The latency issues, non-existent, essentially. All of that side of things, they've absolutely delivered on. The problem is that when you show so early what all the features will be, and after, I guess, I've got two ways of looking at this. 6 months from Founders launch, we still have, in fact, what have they implemented that we were told that we were going to get that wasn't already there at live? Not really any of those features. I mean, String Connect was the first game that it came out with was Breakpoint, right? And that's down to the developers. That's not a Stadia thing. The technology's there, but everything else is still missing. Now, yes, 6 months is a relatively short amount of time, but could you imagine if the Xbox 360 had come out and they were like, yeah, we're gonna turn like party systems on in 6 months' time? Nobody else has done it. It's always been some of these things have to work. And if you're expecting to bring out against a new generation of consoles, these are the kinds of things that do matter. And the new consoles are not going to do what Stadia does now, but they're not trying to do that. They're very much trying to keep hold of local hardware. Yes, the times are slightly longer and you've got to do the installs, downloads, patches, updates, all that crap. Once those are done, it's very difficult then to say, why would I play it on Stadia versus that? If I haven't got simple things like messaging a friend in text, finding somebody through the UI, those kinds of things are important. And I don't think they're going to break Stadia at all. But I just think Stadia need to get a bit of a shift on and actually bring some of the features that they've told everybody about out now. Not allowing studios to be releasing games that clearly are missing those features. I just think it would make the whole experience much better.
Welcome to another episode of Untitled Source.
Exactly. Well, I'm just showing you, this is 10 years ago technology here. Cloud technology.
Do you ever think? Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I just removed that from the screen. I was just saying that's from 10 years ago using cloud stuff. And then bright clips. Here's something here that was built in, and you could share them to Facebook. Directly.
Do you ever think sometimes that maybe they've put too much focus on getting the difficult stuff right, which, don't get me wrong, it's important to get the difficult stuff right, such as what Tommy said, you know what I mean, the streaming, that we can't fault them on. But do you never think sometimes that these smaller features are a little bit beneath them? And it isn't until people turn around and say, well, how come we haven't got messaging, or how come we can't do this or that? And that they say, oh, maybe we should start working that in. Because at the moment, they've just put coming soon for the achievements, coming soon for, you know what I mean, parties on your phone, for example. And I'm thinking, well, is it there? They've just switched it off, or have they not built it properly? Or, you know what I mean? There's all sorts of questions there. I think sometimes they spend too much going after the big fish and not worrying about the little fish.
Yeah.
So you guys think we should have been either this 6 month period and the next 6 months to come should be called Stadia Beta than Stadia launch. Just as we have xCloud going on beta for years and years and years. Same thing as GeForce Now beta, years and years. Because what I'm trying to get is, right now we're going to have, by the end of the year, the next generation. This next generation have been on the works for at least 5 years. It's 5 years of development to go ahead and finally deliver a product. What we have right now at Stadia, it's I'm preaching again, but then I know you work with software development. You know the agile framework and the agile methodology, which you work in increments. So you go, you deliver something. After you deliver, you see how everyone reacts. So either you roll back or you go and do the next iteration, improving that thing. That's Google's way to work. That's why maybe it's my fault, because I am as well I worked with Google before and I know how they work. So when they showed everything they showed during GDC, when they announced Stadia, I knew for a fact, okay, these are all awesome, but not all of these will be ready at day one. That's a fact. I already knew it, but I guess I knew it because I knew Google. So yeah, I do feel like the resurrector said here, it is a soft launch. It's not properly launched. And I call it that. I would say Stadia launch would be when you go to your Walmart or you go to your Best Buy or your favorite tech store and you have a Stadia controller there to be purchased.
This goes back to the fundamental error they made when they launched it. They called it a launch, and they can't go back and try and scrub it all out. They said a launch, even though most people thought it wasn't a launch. They still called it, so they are not getting any eyeballs in regards to that. So they just it's not going to look good. It's just saying, oh, we should just wait to the next gen consoles come out. Next gen consoles coming out. How many games does Xbox Series X have?
An awful lot.
Thousands of games are going to be available. PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 is going to be launching with stuff, and they're also doing back compat as well. This is I could sit here and make a case that Stadia looks expensive compared to the next generation consoles just because of the game library. Because moving from one to the other, I know I've got, we won't mention how many games I've got on Xbox, but we're into hundreds, and the same with PlayStation as well. If I was to buy them all again on Stadia, or the ones I like, you're going to be getting up to the next gen sort of prices as well. So it's convenience they should be going for rather than price, in my view. And the hard drive space.
So I think this topic is probably an entire video in itself, really. And I know a lot of people like Chase, you know what I mean, have been talking a lot about all this.
Chase, you suck.
Have been talking, I mean, these points to death, really. So yeah, I don't know whether you guys want to move on to the next one, or is anybody else? Lee, have you got anything to add to that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think you touched on it, Dan, about the bigger features that they seem to be focusing on. When you announce something and you put up on a screen and you compare yourself to PlayStation and Xbox, when you launch your product, you want to try and make sure you're as, you can take them on, because at that point you're putting yourself against them. So in terms of basic features, seeing your achievements on your phone, on the Chromecast Ultra, being able to buy games on the Chromecast Ultra, a decent party chat system, a decent messaging system, you want them in place as soon as possible. Because they've all got it. And as you said yourself, they're focusing too much time and trying to get the bigger features landed on Stadia, and some of the smaller features have just been put to the side for the moment. Use example PS3 and Xbox 360. PS3 was behind the Xbox 360 in terms of features for a long time. Xbox 360, it brought in achievements. PS3 didn't launch with any, but very soon they brought in the trophy system. Xbox 360,
which is
party
better
chat.
than achievements.
And then again, you know, PS3 eventually they added party chat. So it all, you know, they should have really had, I think, a lot more basic features ready to go, either at launch or they definitely should have been in place by now.
Yeah.
And that
We
probably
didn't have
sounds
achievements to begin with, did we?
more critical than I want it to be, because you know, I am a huge fan of Stadia. I love the platform, but you got to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about here.
Mm.
If we see something that we think needs shouting out, then we'll absolutely do so. Just because we're Stadia Source doesn't mean we're only going to look at things through rose-tinted glasses. So
Stadia is awesome. We're not allowed to say anything bad about Stadia. There's nothing wrong with Stadia. Stadia works perfectly.
I think we're all in the same sort of view, though. Whatever we have to say in the negative, nobody here is like against Stadia at all. It's still my preferred platform, absolutely, over everything else. It's the convenience and the fact that I can literally press 3 buttons and I can be in a game, and within record time. It's just there are bugbears that I think should be at least communicated, if nothing else. We've very much gone back to that. Google aren't telling us anything about Stadia again now, and I know they're probably waiting for Connect, and hopefully the Connect is going to put an end to all of these sorts of things. I don't imagine they're all going to come out then, but just to tell us an update on it, that would be really good.
Just one thing, does anybody playing the Chromecast Ultra? Have you noticed that it's got really, really laggy?
I have noticed that when I first load it up.
Yeah, just when you just load it up, it does a Stadia screen, and when the games show up, it is lagging, and the games take ages for it.
I get a point where if I start to browse, when I first start to browse to the game section, it will stick for maybe 5 to 10 seconds, and then it starts moving again, which it never did before. And that does. I've got 2 Chromecast Ultras, and it does it on both.
Doesn't do it for me.
So I don't know. It could be my connection. It could be something. I don't know. But games play fine. Games play
just
fine.
Must be people with beards.
Yep. I will pass your regards on to Kelly with that comment, because it's happening Kelly's as well.
Yeah, I think we've got one more thing left to talk about for this show. I'd like to kind of move on to that as well. And that was Sega's announcement. And there's a 2-parter. So we'll kind of come to the fog gaming part second. I want to talk about the handhelds first, because I know a lot of people have got
April
some choice
Fools!
things to say about that. Yeah, I definitely thought it was an April Fool's. I mean, a device that fits in the palm of your hand, and there's like 4 different.
Dad, at least it'll make something look bigger.
That's what she said.
But yeah, there's 4, isn't there? Of different colors, and each one has like 4 games on it. So if you want all of the games, you have to buy all 4. And then to make matters worse, because the screens are so small, if you buy all 4, you're also going to get a free magnifying glass, which, Duncan, you can shut up right now.
No comment.
I mean, are you guys excited? You said earlier, Eddie, about being a Sega fan. I mean, yes, I'm a Sega fan. Am I excited for these? Not really. Anybody else? No.
If you've got an Android phone, you can already have every single one of those games on a bigger display.
Yeah. It's more just for novelty. I think it'll be one of those things that like sits in the back of, you know, how like Eddie's got his background to his, you know what I mean, to make his camera look a bit more snazzier. Maybe they'll just be
Look what?
maybe you would
Snazzy
snazzy.
shelves.
Have you never heard that word?
No, actually, no. Okay. Word of
Means
today.
like means pizzazz, beautiful, cool.
Oh, thank you.
So what?
I've never heard somebody explain snazzy as pizzazz.
I probably just confused him even more, actually.
Yeah, word of
Haven't
the
heard
day.
that word.
All right.
But yeah, that's if I say to make it look a bit better. You probably won't actually be able to see them on someone's shelves, will you? Because they'll be that small. But yeah, it is what it is. It'll be a collector's item, I'm sure. But onto the second one, which Pubg Gaming, which is obviously a kind of play on cloud gaming as well. And that is basically utilizing the power of like arcade machines. So obviously in Japan, arcade machines are quite popular. Not so much here in the UK and the US and Canada. But yeah, it'll basically allow people to play arcade games like after the arcades shut, if I'm understanding that correctly.
And I think that's why they went for fog rather than
Cloud.
right? It's like everyone's looking at this like, I can't see the other side of what they're talking about. Who's
what
really
they're trying
going
to achieve here?
Yeah. I jokingly said to Duncan when I first seen it, I was like, do you reckon this is just the wrong translation of the word? And it's supposed to be cloud. And somebody's gone, yeah, fog. And somebody's been fired and that by now. But no, I think they just want to be different, and they want to distinguish that this isn't going to take place in the same world as cloud gaming is what we are talking about with cloud gaming. It just seems like, I mean, the handheld is niche. This is super niche. This is like not even, I just don't know who's going to do it. Are they going to charge you to play the arcade game still?
I have I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? Is this the big announcement from Sega?
Well, we assume so. We assume there's nothing more to it than this.
Because they said on June 4th you're gonna have a big announcement from Sega. Was this it?
Pretty much. I think a lot. The only reason we're kind of mentioning it tonight, because I know it's not too much to do with Stadia, but is a lot of people had theories that it was going to be something Stadia related. I even saw something to go as far as to say that Stadia and Sega were working on some sort of physical console together, which when I first saw it, I kind of thought unlikely, but
no,
you never know, I guess.
I heard of Dreamcast 2. I heard of Microsoft buying Sega to do something exclusive partnerships for the Series X. But all right, that is the definition of big announcement from Sega.
So Victor obviously saying that if you've been to these type of places, you'll understand why it makes sense. So I haven't ever been. I'd like to, but I don't think it's going to catch on too much over here, really. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Lee, Duncan, have you got anything to add to these, or no?
I'll just say apparently Bloodborne's coming to PC, but there we go.
Fair dues.
That's what spoke over the last couple of minutes, where people are really treating that Bloodborne is coming to PC, so more Sony games going to PC, so doing Microsoft.
Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much our show for the night. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now. So before we do that, obviously I just want to thank, as we always do, our patrons. If you just give me a second, I shall get that up on the screen for you now. So thank you to everyone here who's a patron of ours. You absolutely mean the world to us, as we always say.
Did anybody else like try and work out what the MD stood for on Goose's name? Because I like to think it's Thunder Goose Mother Ducker.
Thunder Goose Mega Drive. I don't know. I might have to ask him, given that Michael.
Well,
is,
I know
a member of our
MD
team
usually
as well.
it's doctors. When somebody has a doctor, it's usually MD at the end. But I don't know. That's a good question.
I know he's not a doctor. I actually know what his profession is, so maybe I might have to ask him that one. But yeah,
maybe something with his name. But since we have his name down there,
yeah, maybe. But yeah, anybody interested in becoming a patron of ours as well, you can find the link at the bottom of any Stadia Source page here. Yeah, your every pledge helps us out no end. Obviously, helps us create content for you guys as well. So thank you to everyone who's become a patron so far, and anybody that's thinking about becoming a patron as well. So, and just while we've got him at the bottom there, another big shout out to Rock as usual for hosting Stadia Source. Definitely check out Rock if you're looking for a web solution to your projects. So yeah, thank you very much. And as you'll be able to see, I will bring it up on the screen for you now. Duncan with his Stadia Source hoodie, which he looked absolutely beastly in. And I believe your son got one as well, Duncan, as well.
Yeah, like stepson, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I noticed how he's not showing everybody his Stadia Source pants.
Yeah, Stadia Source.
Yes, and I'm getting my Stadia Source mask, face mask ordered today as well, maybe. Oh, by the way, yes, that is a thing. We discovered that today, didn't we?
Face masks, yeah. I don't know if Trisurect just said in the comments, did Stadia update this week? I don't believe they have. Just because I think, obviously, I don't have this confirmed, but I think it's to do with what's going on in the world right now. So, yeah, we'll probably more than likely see something either at the weekend, maybe next week. But yeah, as Duncan was just saying there, we do have a storefront now where you can buy Stadia Source merch. The hat was from here as well. We've got T-shirts, hoodies, thongs, face masks, pillowcases, teddy bears, you name it. And we're going to be looking to get some more designs as well, so it's not just the Stadia Source logo.
Keeping somebody up.
I'm an old man. I'm an old man now. Eddie, if you, I heard you might have some merchandise to sell as well. Would this be right?
Yes, my wife does some gaming design.
You're selling your wife?
No, whoa. She cannot hear that. But yes, talk me on DM me, and we will get a price for that.
Yeah.
No, but jokes apart, no. There's a store.stadiaplayer1.com. It redirects to the web store that my wife creates some designs, including the one that I'm not wearing today, but the Doom T-shirt that I was wearing the other day. It was a design that she created. In the store, it has pillows and etc. as well. It's just equivalent as you guys were saying. But there's some Stadia designs. There's some video game designs. I'm gonna get one The Last of Us T-shirt design that she created that was really nice as well.
Cool. And where can we find you?
You don't find me, I find you. Just kidding. Twitter.com, you can find me as Eddie_player1, and on YouTube the same thing, EddiePlayer1. Codename Sabrina.
So yeah, you already know where to find us, guys. So there's stadiasource.com. And that's our show for the day. So hope you've had a good time, everybody. Eddie, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure as always. Don't
Absolutely.
Thank
you for having me, guys.
Know the rule.
The invitation.
Duncan, Lee, Tommy, thank you for being here tonight as well.
It's been awesome as always.
Indeed.
So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and...
How many times have you actually noticed this, Tommy? Because this has been up a couple of times during the night.
That is the first time I've seen it. To be fair, I don't actually have our window open all that much.
Thongs and teddy bears. Yeah, we'll put a link to the storefront up soon. I'm still kind of finalizing the design for it, but you can actually, if you go to spreadshirt.com and look for Stadia Source, you'll be able to find it there. So
it really sounded like you said something completely different.
I heard the same thing as well.
What did I say?
Sounded like you said spreadshirt.com.
Spreadshirt. Go ahead, people.
I don't recommend anybody goes to that website.
I'm out. Bye.
Okay, cheers. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
See you guys.